begin this week's show with soccer. The non-conference part of the schedule is over, and EKU heads on Friday and Sunday on the road into conference play. Matt Cosinuke is the head coach with us, and you end with a double overtime win over Akron, so a good way to leap into conference play, and you do it with 30 seconds left in the second and last overtime on a run, and Kylie Thompson finished.
Yeah, we've been a part of way too many overtime games this non-conference, so it's not been good for my heart the entire season up until this point. But it was nice to get a composed finish from Kylie. She's been working incredibly hard to figure out what our forward movement looks like, what her role needs to be in a given moment, and she just finished it so well.
You always hear in soccer, it wasn't a fair result, or it was a fair result. That's how they always say it. Your record, I don't think, says what you got out of this non-conference part of the schedule. Do you agree with that? And what did you get out of it? And how does it set you for conference play? Well,
I don't think it's unfair. I think it's fair because we've had a lot of learning to do, right? We've had a lot of growing up that we need to do in this non-conference. And I think, when you're not getting the results, but you're still putting in performances, emotionally a team and a family can go in one direction or the other. You can go in a direction where you start to blame people or blame yourselves or question things, or you can continue to work. And this family has worked from the very first day. They've never stopped believing in themselves. They've never stopped believing in the change in the style and the system. And I think it's only going to continue to get better.
A great crowd, probably a record crowd, out for a game against Kentucky at the EKU soccer field earlier this past week. And it goes to the 86th minute before Kentucky gets a header to claim the win, and then a goal when Zoe was coming out of goal there at the end with a second to go. So it was really a 1-0 game. Boy, you guys had chances in the first half. You put a couple on goal. They had to have the goalie use their hands to save.
Yeah, I think we executed our game plan for the most part. I think we made some decisions that made things a little bit more difficult on ourselves that we really needed than they needed to be. But I think we tested their goalkeeper early. She made 2 unbelievable saves to keep them in the game in the first couple minutes and keep things level. But I thought we had a mentality and a fight where we never stopped working. We never quit. It didn't matter who we were playing against. It just happened to be, UK from just up the road. But it was nice it was special to have the support and the number of people out there at that game that we did. I think it just shows our family what the support is from the community and what this program means in the community.
So off to the conference play you go, your first 3 on the road. And this is a conference that you're probably going to need to win the tournament to make the NCAA tournament. So what do you focus on? I mean, I know it's game by game. That's what every coach says. But what's going to be the key to having a successful conference season?
The first 45 minutes of the very first game, how you start the conference, how you start your very first opportunity to make a statement within the conference will usually dictate what your mentality is and what your self-confidence is going forward. But I think it is game by game for us, and it is half by half for us. But I'm excited to see what they do.
Are you settled into more of who you play when and how you rotate your team and that kind of thing, or is that still a work in progress?
We're starting to get a more comfortable idea. I think a lot of our substitution patterns are coming together, but I think there's still a lot to be said for people that are still adjusting to the system, right? So I think it's something that I think we're starting to get a sense of comfort in knowing when we want players to come in or come off the bench or begin a game. But I think there's a lot to left to be proved for a lot of the players.
Okay, good luck on the road this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, here's what's ahead for the EKU soccer team. As the OVC begins, it'll be at Jacksonville State on Friday night. That's an 8 o'clock Eastern start time. And then a matinee on Sunday at 2 o'clock in Cookeville against Tennessee Tech. The Curdles' first 3 games on the road in the OVC. When we come back here on Inside EKU Sports, we'll check in on the volleyball team.
Every day is a concept that few people can commit to. Every day requires a level of dedication that forces you to test your limits.
Every day I'll give back to the community because I draw strength from their support. Every day the sounds of your cheers will echo through my mind. Knowing that you have my back means I can always look forward.
Every day I'll be too tired to sweat and my bones will ache. Every day will provide me with the slight edge that I need to succeed. Champions are built every day.
We talk volleyball now with Rachel Woody, who's on the team. She's been on the team a while. You're a senior, right?
Yes, sir.
Start. Had an injury a couple of years ago, and I know that was tough, and you had to bounce back from it. Before that, you were the OVC Freshman of the Year. So has it taken a while to get back after that injury that caused you to miss half the season?
Oh, yeah. So that injury was totally something that, like, the hardest thing I've ever gone through. But with the help of my teammates and coaches, I've definitely gone past that. But trying to figure out who I am as a player now, because it's not the same player as I was before. So still trying to find my role and fill in my shoes of who I am and being a leader on the court.
You're the setup person,
yes.
Really, basically, to put it in volleyball terms. 5 wins already, not
Yes.
even to conference play yet.
Right.
You had 5 wins in a tough year last year. So I got a feeling that you feel momentum with a new head coach and Jonna Fouch and
Yes.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's kind of like just this whole new era that we're getting into. So her way of coaching is different from what we've had in the four. So it's a lot more fast-paced, a lot more detail-oriented. But I think that's obviously transitioned onto the court for us. So it's been good.
And you're from the San Diego area where
Yes.
she played at San Diego State. So there's a connection way back when you were a young kid. Tell us about that.
So she played on our 18s team when I was like a little tiny tot in a little locals program. So I've always looked up to her, and I still do now. Sometimes she'll come into practice and she'll be saying, I'm like, Jonna, like, how do you do that? But yes, definitely I've known her for a long time.
So was volleyball always the sport you focused on?
When I was younger, I probably played every single sport before I found volleyball until about second or third grade. I've tried everything. My mom didn't really let me play outdoor sports because she doesn't really like the weather, but I played basketball, I did cheer, dance, soccer, indoor soccer, all kinds of stuff, but volleyball definitely took over my heart.
What do you feel like this new way you play, how has it changed the team? I mean, is it more taxing on the team?
I wouldn't say it's more taxing. I think it's just like using more of our resources that we do have and using it for our benefit. So we watch like a lot more film. We're really looking at what we can do for ourselves on our side of the court and using that to the best of our advantage.
Jonna told me that the one thing she wants to see this team improve on, and I'm sure you've heard this in practice, is cut down errors.
Right.
Whether it's a service error,
Right.
a setting to an opponent, or missing a shot at the net. How do you do that? How do you turn the coach's desire into reality?
Right. So I think it's just like listening and applying, like how we said. So like one of our keys for all of our matches is always to limit our errors. So it's definitely something that she's always talked about. But I think it's just like knowing that if the ball's not there for you, just put it in play. So just knowing like better the ball every chance that you get.
You have faced in the last few matches, either you've been swept twice, but you've had 4 3-0 wins.
Yeah.
That's impressive. And I've noticed you've won some really close sets, winning close sets that go 25-23 or something like that.
Right.
That shows that maybe it's a team that kind of can handle the pressure.
Oh yeah, so we definitely have some we have a lot of heart on our team. So during those tough times, like I know our players are going to come out there and give us all that we have, which is all that we've all asked for each other. So I think it's good.
You're a communications disorders major?
Yes, sir.
How do you want to apply that after college?
So I'm hoping to get my master's in speech language pathology and speech disorders, and then hopefully get my credentials, and I want to work in a hospital either with traumatic brain injuries or in the NICU with babies who are learning how to swallow.
Sounds great. It's great to meet you, Rachel.
Thank you so much.
OVC plays coming. Good luck in conference play.
Thank you.
Rachel Woody, a senior on the volleyball team. Here's what's up for the volleyball team. It's back on the road for the Colonels. 3 more games up in West Virginia in the Mountaineer Classic over the weekend. And then the Colonels get home to start OVC play. They'll have a Friday night game, the first of the year in the conference against Tennessee State. That's a 6 o'clock start at Alumni Coliseum. And then Saturday, September 28th, a 1 p.m. game against Belmont. Hope to see you out at the Coliseum to support the volleyball team. And when we come back, we'll talk about EKU football on the road again.
At Eastern Kentucky University, we recognize greatness starts in the classroom, but it doesn't end there. You have to get hands-on, get real-world experience, and discover who you are meant to be. Be a crime fighter. Be a visionary. Be a colonel. See what you can be. Visit go.eku.edu/colonel.
3 games in a row away from home for Eastern Kentucky, and the last one is Presbyterian in this road swing in Clinton, South Carolina on Saturday. Mark Elder here to talk about that game against the Blue Hose, as well as look back to last week's game. Oh, so close last week against Indiana State. A couple of big plays, then you just couldn't quite get over the hump, made a good comeback.
Yeah, we didn't play well enough. We didn't coach well enough or play well enough for 60 minutes of football. A lot of ups and downs throughout the game, and unfortunately didn't have enough ups for us to be able to pull it out. Was pleased with our defensive effort for about 50 minutes, and then we feel very, very strong about our defense and put them out there with about 10 minutes to go in the game, down by 6, and unfortunately gave up a long drive that ended in a touchdown. And, we started off really slow on offense and found a little bit of a rhythm. It was a slow game in the second half, only 4 possessions, and just didn't have enough to pull out a victory. But a lot of respect for their team. A lot of that's because they're a good team, as we are as well, and just need to find a way to play better for a full 60 minutes.
Yeah, you talk about a slow game in the sense that it was dominated by long drives. Your scoring drive, 15 plays, and it covered 80 yards. And then you got the ball back, and we thought we had a go-ahead touchdown, but it went to the replay booth on a bang play right there at the edge of the end zone on the near sidelines, and it was overruled, but it looked like you were going to go ahead there.
Yeah, no, it was certainly a very exciting moment there, all the way until it wasn't. But no, we had a play to key on, and he had stepped out, and I think they were trying to determine whether or not he was forced out and came back in or not, and because he did step out clearly, there's no question about that. But then got back in bounds to catch it, and it didn't go our way, and they went to replay and got reversed. So we figured that was probably the right call there then. But it was close, and I made a decision to go for it on 4th and 1 down there at the 8-yard line. We didn't get it. I wanted to go for the win. We were down by 6, and thought it was the right move right then and there. We had a lot of momentum. We had a 67-yard drive up to that point, and felt good about it. And we just didn't get it. I take responsibility for that.
They take over at the 8, and the one that was the backbreaker is they went almost 8 minutes of possession, 92 yards, and when you look back at it, 3rd down conversions. They hit 3 long 3rd down conversions because your defense had played tremendous all game long, but the 3 big ones there. Yeah,
so just shy of 8-minute drive. As you said, I think 15, 16 plays, 3 3rd down conversions, a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 7, and then a 3rd and 16 with just over 3 minutes to go, where we're pretty close. And I mean, it was as close could be. We absolutely whacked the quarterback. I mean, the ball was out of his hands maybe a couple feet. We had a hand up in the window that missed by a foot or less.
I saw pick 6 in my eyes when that happened.
And we had a player that was right there that tried to step in front and came away with nothing, and unfortunately they came away with the 1st down. So that was a disappointing drive because I thought our defense had really played well throughout the game up until that drive, and that's the difference. I mean, that's winning and losing ball games, because up to that point it's a six point game. It's a 1-score ball game, and we made just too few plays there at the end, and they made a couple to win it.
Got to go right back out on the road. You play the Blue Hose of Presbyterian, 1 o'clock down there. They're out of the Big South, and this is a game I know you want to get back to 500 with this game and hopefully start getting a little healthy, because it's been a tough season as far as injuries.
Yeah, we're excited to head out to play Presbyterian, getting to watch them on film. They've got a really dynamic wide receiver, number 2. I mean, he's electric. I mean, really is very shifty, good change of direction, good speed. Played a couple different quarterbacks, I think, due to injury. Play a couple running backs I think are really good. And then defensively, I think they got a really strong linebacking core. Their 2 inside backers are very experienced guys, find the football well. They're really active up front. So be a great challenge, and we're looking forward to yet another road trip.
All right, thanks, Mark. Well, the Colonels, again, 1 o'clock Saturday against the Blue Hose of Presbyterian. We'll be on the air with a radio call at 12:30. ESPN Plus has it as well. You can find a radio call, by the way, at 100.7 FM, also at EKUsports.com. Don't forget, then the Colonels come back for a Hall of Fame weekend back home next Saturday night against Tennessee State. That's September 28th. When we come back, we'll talk to an EKU golfer who had a really good round on his home course.
We are more than just athletes. We inspire scholars. We inspire leaders. We inspire champions. We inspire family. This is the Ohio Valley Conference.
The EKU Raising Cane's Intercollegiate was played out at the Arlington Golf Course this past weekend. EKU as a team finishing 5th, and the top scorer for the Colonels was Willis Gaer out of Des Moines, Iowa. You had a 67 the first round, pretty good collegiate round to begin the tournament.
Yeah, no, it went well. I got off to a slow start. I think I was 2 over after 7 and kind of just collected myself, and I played, I think, the last 11 holes 5 under. With a double coming in too, but so yeah, it went well though.
The course played pretty hard. I mean, the winning team was over par slightly. You were, as an individual, I think, 1 over for the 54 holes and 3 off the winner. So is it because of the dry conditions that Arlington played so tough?
Yeah, I mean, in my 2.5 years now, it's always like Arlington's always pretty wet. You don't get much roll on like in the Zoysia fairways and stuff. But the last month, obviously we haven't got much rain, so it's really firm. You have to play for a lot of run out, which is kind of abnormal, and I think kind of caught a lot of us off guard, especially even my teammates and I. It was just different.
Talking with Willis Gaer, who is a golfer for the EKU men's team. Golf is a split season. They play in the fall, and then the spring part of the season is where you move on to the OBC, try to qualify for the NCAA. So what does the team, and do you individually, want to get out of the fall season here, which continues with a tournament in October, early October?
Just kind of trying to get comfortable with your game, and like a lot of us play throughout the summer, so it's really just kind of ongoing, just competition. We have 4 newcomers this year, so we're all still trying to get to know each other pretty well, and we have potential to do something. We just got to keep working at it and doing what we're doing and finish up with a good fall and see where the spring can take us.
Second generation golfer in the Gaer family. His dad David was a golfer here at EKU in the late 70s and I think graduated, you said, in 1980. So you follow your dad here out of Des Moines. So what did he tell you? I mean, did he kind of steer you this way, or did you want to follow in his footsteps?
He didn't really steer me. He kind of let me do my own thing through the recruiting process, and I came down, took a visit with Coach Stevens, and I just loved it. The team atmosphere was awesome. It was the best I saw out of everywhere I went, and I just kind of fell in love with it, and I'm glad to be here. It's been an awesome last 2 years so far. I'm looking forward to the future.
You were class valedictorian back in high school, and now working on a degree. Tell me what your major is and what you want to do beyond golf in your future.
So I'm a risk management and insurance, and then a finance major as well, and I'm in the honors program. But Des Moines is a pretty big insurance place. I've been meeting with people the last summer, 5 or 6 companies, just trying to get my feet wet on what they do and kind of how they got into it. So I'm still trying to figure that out. But classes have been interesting, but it's going well so far.
You know, golf is one of those sports that you can play for the rest of your life. Sometimes when the football is over, the football is over. And it's also a sport that you can take into the business part of things. So that I would assume that kind of is in the back of your mind.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it'd be nice to go meet with clients on a golf course rather than just.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't hurt at all.
Yeah, what's your goal for you and the team this year once we get into spring competition and the conference is out there in late April?
We want to go as far as we can go. We want to win. I don't think we've won a conference tournament since 2 years before I was here, and we've come close. I know my freshman, sophomore year. I believe we can do it. We have a good team, experienced. We have four players with quite a bit of experience, a transfer that came in who has some experience, and I mean, if we play the way we're capable of, it could do something for sure.
Great to meet you, Willis, and good luck the rest of the season and then into the spring.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, Willis Gaer, who is a golfer on the EKU men's team, and that does it for another edition of Inside EKU Sports. Like and follow Colonel Athletics by going to any and all of these social media pages. And as always, go Big E.